Welcome to the Scalpel of Truth, the podcast providing cutting insight on how to rise to the top in the medical aesthetics industry with your host, Leisa Krause, aka the Bitch and Beautician. That's Leisa with an E, which stands for explicit, because in this surgical suite, she won't sugarcoat the truth, and yes, there will be some seriously salty language, not suitable for sensitive souls, children, nor pets. As a business consultant, Leisa shares the knowledge and lessons she's gleaned over 30 years in the industry, time spent working directly with patients, managers, and med spa owners alike. Her practice growth strategies are sharp, her stories and wit sharper, and her panache for bringing the spice the sharpest. So buckle up, bichachos. Leisa is about to slice and dice another episode of The Scalpel of Truth.
Hey, bachachos, welcome back to The Scalpel of Truth, the no bullshit podcast where I cut through the fluff and get straight to the hard, ugly truth about the medical aesthetic industry. I'm your host, Leisa Krause, aka the Bitch and Beautician, and today, let me tell you, we are diving in to a serious topic. Yes, my bachachos. This episode is called Old Sticky Fingers, when a patient pulls a 5-finger discount. So, we're diving into the little dirty secret that no one wants to talk about, and that's theft. So I'm going to talk about patients pulling that 5-finger discount on your hard-earned inventory, whether it's swiping a $150 serum off the shelf or sneaking out without paying for a service. Yep, it happens more often than you think. And it isn't just a whoopsies moment, it's your livelihood. And if someone thinks they can walk out of your med spa or clinic and rob you blind, they've got another thing coming. Today we're going to talk about spotting red flags, setting boundaries, and making sure no one leaves with anything they didn't pay for, including your sanity. Here's the legal part I need to read. This podcast is presented solely for educational entertainment purposes. Guys, I'm just your beauty business bitch. I'm not a licensed therapist or an HR representative, nor am I a lawyer. This platform's used to share my experiences with what's made me a successful service provider, a manager, and a business consultant for those who I coach. Got it? Beautiful. Here's the ugly truth, guys. Patients stealing from med spas is more common than you would believe. Maybe it's that entitled patient who thinks, well, I spent $500 on Botox, so this serum should be free. Or that sneaky Karen who grabs a lip balm while you were turned around. Either way, fuck that noise. I want to go over some examples of theft, okay? Number one, most obvious, is pocketing a retail product. Number two, walking out without paying for a service. Number three, digging in your drawers when the service provider is absent in a treatment room. I have honestly walked into treatment rooms, especially when I was in cosmetic dermatology, where you'd walk in and a patient would be rummaging through the cupboards and drawers. I literally have had to say to a patient, what did you need? What were you looking for? And they look and they're like, I was just bored. I was left in here for so long that I just started looking through stuff. Sorry about that. Or, I was just looking for a pen or a piece of paper to write something on. Or I was looking for a Kleenex. You fucking liar. No, you weren't. You were looking for what you could maybe help yourself to. There has been scenarios where prescription pads have gone missing. These are something that usually docs will keep in the clinic treatment room for ease. Those things should be locked up. You can't trust a fucker in the bunch these days. I'm telling you for real. So the other thing that they look for in drawers is they will take ridiculous stuff. Like I once saw a woman with gloves in her purse. And I was like, I wonder how those got there. Maybe she didn't have any gloves to color her hair at home or something. Like just stupid shit. And then people will steal back bar products that you have that you're using on patients in your cupboards. They'll steal all kinds of things. So you want to make sure you are protecting your assets. You are not a charity. You are a business, and businesses protect their assets. So let's go into why it happens. I would say we're in a culture of entitlement. And a lot of times patients assume that med spas make bank, so they aren't going to miss a $200 cream. Another thing that goes missing is fucking testers. That's something else. You got to keep an eye on your testers. Let's go into spotting some red flags while you're protecting your practice. These are some common behaviors of stealing patients. Number one, they're overly curious about your inventory, but they never seem to buy anything when they're in. A lot of these folks will ask about free samples. Okay, here's the thing. In medical aesthetics, we have ingredient-rich products. We know they fucking work because they're backed by science. I always tell any of my clients or folks that used to work with me and for me, I would say, make sure you're charting what samples you gave that individual. Don't just let them go out the door all willy-nilly with free samples. Limit how many samples they have. There's sometimes where you've got service providers that are like, oh, here, like, let me give you 8 of these. Then you look at your service provider and that fucker's starting to steal. Another one is fidgeting, bag clutching, hovering near the retail section when no one's watching. Look, if somebody's acting like a squirrel in a room full of acorns, you're going to want to check into what that's all about. You need to pay attention. You don't want to leave patients unattended to in areas that have product or in treatment rooms for too long. So what you got to do is set boundaries. So you want clear signage. This isn't Target. So having a sign near your products that say all items must be purchased before leaving. I mean, you can even put that. It's not tacky. In some cases, it's fucking necessary. And depending on your clinic, sometimes theft isn't a big deal for your clinic. But there's folks that are in areas that it is a big deal. Just protecting yourself. Another one is visible staff presence. Make sure the team is trained to engage with everyone, even the lurkers. A simple "can I help you find something" can make a thief think twice. And then a big one here is inventory audits. Do consistent checks on your retail shelves. If anything's missing, you will know. This is also why you shouldn't have more than or a maximum of 3 products per SKU on your shelf. Even using empty boxes for design or merchandising. I think that it is protecting yourself and protecting the investment you're spending. All right, let's dive into handling theft like a boss, okay? So what do you do when you catch a thief? Number one, it's awkward as fuck. Your blood pressure's gonna go up because you're like, oh, here's an uncomfortable fucking situation that I wasn't looking forward to today. How are you gonna deal with it? You're gonna stay calm and be professional. This isn't the time to lose your shit. You want to politely address the issue with something like, oh, I noticed you have a serum in your bag. Would you like me to add that to your checkout? That's letting them know you know without looking like a dick or causing a huge scene. Something that I think you need to have is a clear policy. You need to train your team on what to do, whether it's confronting the patient or escalating it to management. Everyone needs to know the plan around potential theft from patients. And then consider the consequences. If it's a blatant theft, don't be afraid to ban that patient. They're not worth the revenue loss or the headache. So it's okay to fire a patient over something like theft. Guys, let's talk about the cost of doing nothing. If you let shit slide, you're setting a precedent. Word'll get around and suddenly every sticky-fingered Sally in town thinks your med spa is an easy target. So you can't let this shit slide. Theft is a big one. Honestly, things walking out of your med spa or your clinic, all of those things are going to add up. You need to protect yourself. So, my badass bachachos, theft is a reality. But you don't need to be a victim. Look at spotting those red flags, set those clear boundaries, and handle your business like the fucking boss that you are, okay? That's what I have for you today, folks. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me. Whether you are driving to work, organizing your clinic, sipping a well-earned glass of wine, I appreciate the hell out of you. Remember, every episode of The Scalpel of Truth is about helping you level up your practice and protect what you've built. Now, if you enjoyed the general listening to this episode, you are going to love being a part or a member of Club Bachacho. So if you're ready for the after party, aka the club, You get additional content on each episode, additional tips and pearls for kicking ass and taking names in this space. So head over to scalpeloftruth.com so you can join the club for $14.99 a month or $150 annually. You're going to get early access to episodes, the bonus content. And for this particular episode, we are talking pearls on keeping your med spa running tight and theft-proof. It's a small price to pay for tips that can literally save you thousands. So here is where I love you and leave you, general listeners. Keep kicking ass, stay sharp, focused, and fabulous, and I'll see you on the next one.
Don't want to wait to see things stay the way they are.